It's time again for Northwestern Outdoors Radio, the show covering fishing, hunting, and all sorts of outdoor recreation and destinations right here in the region you live and play in. Northwestern Outdoors is brought to you every week by Max Lure Company, makers of the world-famous wedding ring spinner, by Loophole, America's Optics Authority, and by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Northwestern Outdoors is also sponsored by Wallowa County in Northeast Oregon, where you'll find both nature and fun. By Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing, offering you the affordable Canadian fishing trip of a lifetime. And by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. So grab your fishing rod or hunting gear, load up the boat or lace up your boots, and let's head outdoors with your host, John Cruz.
Welcome to another edition of Northwestern Outdoors Radio. It's been a fun winter, but for us, our show season is done. That's right, we're done exhibiting at sportsman shows around the Northwest, but we had a great time. We loved the Puyallup show, as always. Lots of crowds there. A lot of fun checking in with the folks at the Central Washington Sportsman Show in Yakima. Exhibited for 3 days at the Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show. Probably the best attendance there that I've seen since the first year it got there 4 years ago. And we were just at the Central Oregon Sportsman Show in Redmond, and that was fantastic. This week, we'll be bringing you audio we recorded at the Wenatchee Sportsman Show. We're going to start off talking to longtime guide Brett Dickerson. I call him a guide for all seasons, and here's why. Brett is finishing up his season on the Clearwater River near Lewiston, Idaho. Been a good steelhead year there, and Brett's going to tell you about that. His next stop is salmon fishing on the Columbia River, and then he does tuna fishing out of Ilwaco, and he's got a fantastic boat for that. Can't wait to tell you about that as well. After we talk to Brett, we're going to talk to another fishing guide, Keith Jensen. He's a Max Lure Pro Guide. He is the owner of Big Wally's Guide Service. He has got that Banks Lake fishery dialed in, especially when it comes to the walleye, and he'll tell you how to catch those wallies this spring. I know that camping is probably getting on your mind for the spring and summer months. And with that in mind, we're going to talk to the president of Teardrops Northwest. They are based out of Salem, Oregon. They build what I can best describe as new retro teardrop trailers that I think you're just going to love, especially if you like traveling light when it comes to towing a trailer. Another person we caught up with at the Wenatchee Show was Aaron Garcia with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. They're doing some turkey mentoring hunts and some turkey hunting clinics this spring, and he's going to tell you how to get involved with them and where they're taking place. On top of that, a story about justice denied in the Bullwinkle elk killing case that took place near Ellensburg in Washington State. The scenario? A very rich trophy hunter shoots an elk in an area he wasn't supposed to shoot it at, transports the animal to an area that is open for trophy bull elk, and then field dresses it with the help of a local guide. The hunter in question paid a lot of money for the privilege of harvesting this elk, but he wasn't supposed to harvest it where he did. We'll tell you exactly what happened and exactly why this is a case of justice denied later in the show. On top of that, we've got fishing reports for you from around the Northwest, courtesy of Sportsman's Warehouse stores. And of course, we've got our Sportsman's Warehouse Trivia Question of the Week, where you get a chance every week to win a $25 gift card from Sportsman's Warehouse, who, we are happy to say, has renewed with us for another year, which means you get a chance to win a $25 gift card every week for another year too. But before we get into all of that, we've got another edition of Sportsman Spotlight for you. Sportsman Spotlight is provided to us every week by the Ag Information Network and is sponsored by Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing, offering all-inclusive saltwater fishing vacations out of Port Hardy, BC. Find out more at coastwidesportsfishing.com.
This is Sportsman Spotlight with Matt and Tom.
Many anglers are asking the same question. What happened to all the salmon? Here's Ag Info reporter Susan Allen with an update.
Thanks, Matt and Tom. Recently, a new federal report is suggesting that the California and Steller sea lions took a bigger bite out of last year's salmon run than any previous year. 2015 saw a larger salmon run with more than 239,000 Chinook and steelhead migrating past Bonneville Dam. That year, the total number of salmon that sea lions ate was the largest ever recorded. The Army Corps of Engineers recorded more than 260 lions consuming more than 10,000 fish from just January to June 2015. Now in 2016, the salmon run was far smaller, but the sea lions' appetite for the salmon didn't shrink much. They still ate more than 9,500 fish, nearly 6% of the whole run. And that's the largest share of the run eaten by the large mammals ever since the Army Corps of Engineers scientists started watching 15 years ago. Now, some anglers blame the sea lions, but management biologist Daniel Teskey had this to say.
Something's happening out there, whether it be less prey available or more predators, and we are seeing it throughout a bunch of different systems here.
From Alaska to the California coast, it sounds like salmon numbers have plummeted.
You've just heard Matt Rice with Sportsman Spotlight. For more information, visit us online at sportsmanspotlight.com.
A quality and affordable fishing adventure is waiting for you off Vancouver Island with Chad's Coast-Wide Sports Fishing. Located in Port Hardy, British Columbia, you can drive or fly to your all-inclusive guided fishing vacation. Whether you're after big salmon, heart-fighting halibut, or a cooler full of red snapper and lingcod, you can catch it all here. Better yet, your lodging, meals, and fish processing are all taken care of. Want one more reason to go? The price. With the Canadian dollar exchange rate where it is right now, your U.S. dollar goes further. Space is limited, so go to coastwidesportsfishing.com to book your trip. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com for an incredible BC fishing adventure.
Pheasants Forever is working hard every day to ensure there's more wildlife habitat for the future. To join us, go to pheasantsforever.org.
I'm gonna take you fishing, honey. You're gonna love it. Gonna get up before the sun.
You're back with Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and we thought we'd talk to, well, what I would refer to as a guide for all seasons. His name is Brett Dickerson. He owns Columbia River Sport Fishing Guide Service and Oregon Tuna Charters, and he can take you fishing pretty much all year long. Brett, welcome to the show.
How's it going?
It's going well. How long have you been a guide now, Brett?
Oh, I've been guiding here for about 16 years.
So you know your stuff. You made it past the first 5, as they say, so that you've definitely got your street cred in. And I like the fact that you guide on the Clearwater River, that you guide on the Columbia River, and you guide out of El Waco for tuna, and I wanted to break down these fisheries. So this being winter, I know that you've been guiding on the Clearwater. How's it been this season for those big B-run steelhead?
Well, the Clearwater's been good this year. I've been working for Stotts Fishing over there. Been consistent all season long. A lot of big fish this year, a lot of hatchery fish. So the catch rates for taking home has been really good, and the fishing day in, day out has been above average. So.
Are you pretty much fishing from the mouth up to the Orofino Bridge?
Yeah, correct. I fish basically from Lewiston up to the Orofino Bridge, wall powerboat stuff. We do a lot of side drifting, back trolling, whatever it takes to catch fish.
When it comes to the back trolling, especially when it comes to the plugs, everyone's got their favorite. What's yours?
Oh, we fish a lot of the Yakima bait 3.5s, and then some diver and bait stuff too also. So,
any colors in particular?
Oh, Blue Pirate always is a go-to. The Michael Jacksons work well over there, and the metallics, the reds, the blues, the greens, the purples are all good choices. So,
how much longer is the Clearwater fishery going to hold up? Because, I mean, it's always got a lifespan, and I know this being basically the beginning of March, we got to be getting close to the end.
Yeah, it's getting close. We probably got another 2 weeks of good, solid fishing.
So where are you going from there? I'm going to guess the lower Columbia, below Bonneville for springers.
Yeah, I'm going to be probably starting down around Kalama here as soon as fish show up, and then we'll kind of work our way back up towards the Portland metro area until the river closes on April 6th. Then we'll move on to either the Willamette or the Cowlitz River for the spring salmon. So
I understand it's going to be a decent run this year. Should be some good opportunity. I understand it's a one salmon limit down there on the lower Columbia. When you start off down there by the Kalama, down there by the Cowlitz, how are you getting the fish in the boat?
I do a lot of trolling herring. You can also anchor up on the tides down there. It kind of depends on water level, water clarity, so on and so forth, and kind of make the call from there once we get a little closer to the fishing season. So,
it's interesting. I mean, being that far up from the mouth, that it's still tidal dependent, that fishery. Go ahead and explain to our listeners how that works for you exactly.
Well, it's you just gotta kind of watch it down there. The ebb tides, you're gonna find the softer spots or go on the anchor if it's getting your troll speeds are too fast. So you just kind of watch. If the softer tides you can troll all day, the bigger tides a lot of times you'll have to go anchor up just to make it, fish throughout the day. Otherwise your troll speeds are getting too fast to really be effective for the springer.
Are you trolling cut plug herring, whole herring, and what are you putting in front of it in terms of a dodger or flasher?
I fish a little both. Sometimes I'll fish it naked, no flasher, and then we'll fish the triangle, Big Al style flashers, BYOs, any of that triangle style flasher is what we tend to go to for the springers, 8-inch, 10-inch flashers. So.
And are you using downriggers too?
No, we all fish strictly lead, work the bottom. The springers are, they ride that bubble this time of year, so they're right on the sand. So the closer you can keep it to the bottom, the better your chances are. So,
what's the biggest tip you would give for anglers out there that you see doing it wrong?
Pay close attention to your troll speed and just make sure you're always on the bottom when you're trolling for those springers. I mean, if you're off the bottom too far, a lot of times you're out of the strike zone. So just always be checking for bottom, keep it down there, and try to keep your troll speed down under 3 miles an hour over the ground.
All right, another question for you here: scent or no scent? Because I've actually met some guys who say, I don't use scent at all when it comes to herring. I've met other ones that are just coating it with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of one of those no scent guys. I think presentation's more key than scents a lot of times. So, just get a good quality bait with the right roll on it and right color patterns and go from there. Once in a while we'll put scents down, but not usually.
So when you transition from the mouth of the Cowlitz to the mouth of the Kalama, you head towards the Willamette, you're fishing below Bonneville Dam. Are you doing different things there?
Springers, most of the stuff I'm trolling, herring, Columbia, Willamette. Once we move on to the Cowlitz, a lot of that we'll start back trolling plugs and diver and bait and back bounce and so on and so forth. So,
all right. So how long are you going to be messing around down here on the lower Columbia, the Willamette, and the Cowlitz?
Oh, I'll be starting probably around March 20th, and we'll be through mid-May catching springers and then move on to the coast from there. So.
All right, and I want to talk about that because you operate out of Ilwaco. I saw a photo of your boat. That's a beautiful boat that you're working out of for those tuna charters that you have there. Tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, we run a 41-foot six-pack on triple 300 outboards. It's, one of the biggest boats in the six-pack fleet and one of the fastest. It's very comfortable. That's kind of key with our program. Everybody sits inside air ride suspension seats, and once we get out there, you've got a full walk-around deck to fish on, and nobody's rubbing elbows, and we go out there and catch a lot of fish. So.
We're talking to Brett Dickerson. He is the owner of Columbia River Sport Fishing and Oregon Tuna Charters about the, 3 to 4 seasons of fishing that he can offer you here in the Northwest, from Idaho to Oregon to Washington, for steelhead, for salmon, and for tuna. And we're now talking about tuna out of Ilwaco. When does that get going, generally speaking? Are we talking July, early August?
They usually start showing up the end of June, first part of July, so we'll start fishing that first part of July and fish all the way through, September, first part of October, just kind of see what the season takes, The later in the season you get, kind of start worrying about the fish leaving, and those storms will start pushing in, and the next thing you know, the fish are gone, the currents are gone. So, we try to pull the plug somewhere around the end of September, first part of October, just to ensure that everybody's got good dates available and we're not booking you when the fish might not be here.
Absolutely. And so let's talk about a tuna trip with you. People are going to come to Ilwaco, and they're going to, obviously stay the night in either Astoria or Ilwaco. What time are they getting on the boat? Is this like one of those 2 a.m. get on the boat deals, or are you getting on later, or how's that work?
No, we take off at daylight. I like to see where we're going, so our boat's fast enough. We can leave at daylight, be on the grounds, hour and a half, 2 hours, on the long side. And then we'll fish all day and usually try to get you back by about dinner time and go on about your stuff and not have to sleep on the ocean all night.
That's nice. And you must have a fast boat, because I'll be honest, that's a lot different than a lot of the other charter boat captains I talk to out of Ilwaco and Westport who do have those middle-of-the-night departures. You are sleeping on the ocean, and you're getting back late the next day.
Yeah, that's the kind of the thing we try to go after, is that people that don't want to be out there all day long. So we built a boat that's big, fast. We'll cruise at 25 to 30 knots on a good ocean. So you can cover a lot of water in a short amount of time.
Well, I like it. So when it comes to your tuna charters, how many tuna can people expect to bring back on any given day?
We like to see anywhere from 5 to 10 fish per angler. My goal is 5. Once I got 5, we just kind of leave it up to you. Boat will usually is about 60 for 10 anglers is a good load to come home with.
I'll say it is. That's fantastic. And do you offer processing or anything like that when you get back?
We have processors lined up for you. Get back, offload your fish, and you can get them cut that evening when we get back to shore. We don't cut on the water because, we're too busy fishing, and on the way in, we're cutting too fast to get back on the back with a knife and go to work. So, yeah, we have cutters lined up and processors, so you just bring them in, offload them. You can either take them home or have somebody cut them for you.
Sounds like a great deal to me. So, folks, whether you want to go steelhead fishing on the Clearwater, whether you you want to go salmon fishing on the lower Columbia or the Willamette or the Cowlitz, or if you want to go tuna fishing out of Ilwaco this summer, you might want to get a hold of Brett Dickerson. He's got two websites. One of them is ColumbiaRiverSportFishing.com. That's ColumbiaRiverSportFishing.com for the Clearwater and the Columbia. The other one is OregonTunaCharters.com for his tuna fishing out of Ilwaco, Washington. Again, that's OregonTunaCharters.com and ColumbiaRiverSportFishing.com. Brett, thanks for telling us all about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thanks.
Rise above us, got a bamboo pole and a leaky boat. It ain't much, but if you bail, it'll float. I'm gonna take you fishing.
Looking for the ultimate cooking machine for your backyard or patio? Look no further than Camp Chef's new pellet grill and smoker. With user-friendly features like an auto ignition, digital readouts, and internal meat temperature sensors, it's easy to smoke the tastiest salmon, ribs, brisket, and turkey you'll ever eat. And an innovative system makes cleanup a snap. Everyone will want the food you're cooking on your Camp Chef pellet grill and smoker. The quality smoker that's second to none. Find out more at campchef.com. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Looking for a quality fishing adventure that won't break the bank? Then head to Canada for an all-inclusive fishing vacation with Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing. Big salmon, halibut, snapper, and lingcod are waiting for you off Vancouver Island. But space is limited, so book now at coastwidesportsfishing.com. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com.
Leupold has been building optics in Oregon since 1907, and Leupold binoculars bring excellent optical performance and modern styling to the serious outdoorsman. Whether you're a boater, birder, backpacker, or hunter, Leupold's state-of-the-art binocular lines are sure to fit your needs. From the Poro Prism Yosemite series to the top-of-the-line McKinley Roof Prism, Leupold has a product that is perfect for the passions you pursue. Visit Leupold.com or your local Cabela's, Bi-Mart, or Sportsman's Warehouse to see the full line of Leupold optics.
You're back with more of the great outdoors on Northwestern Outdoors Radio with John Cruz.
It's time for another Max Minute.
Fish on!
Brought to you every week by Max Lure Company. This week we're talking to Keith Jensen. He's the owner of Big Wally's Guide Service, and his home waters is Banks Lake in eastern Washington. Early spring walleye fishing. How are you going about it, Keith?
The walleye are deep, and when I mean deep, 30 to 50 feet deep, and so it's all about bottom bouncer and spinner rigs. Put a Max Lure smile blade coupled up with a super slow death hook and a night crawler. Target that depth, 30 to 50 feet, with those smile blades and slow death hook, and you're going to be in business.
Let's talk about weight. Let's talk about speed. How much weight are you putting on those bottom bouncer weights, and how fast are you going?
Yeah, early in the season when the walleye are that deep, 2 ounces is the perfect amount of weight, and so all 4 of my rods typically will have a 2 ounce. And speed-wise, really the speed-wise will pretty much stay the same all throughout the course of the year for pulling spinner rigs, and it's about 0.8, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9 miles per hour is the speed that I like to target.
That's pretty slow. Now, I know that the advantage of using the Max Lure spinner rigs, whether it's the Wally Pop or whether it's a double whammy or the super slow death rig, is they have those smile blades, and they spin at very, very slow speeds. When you're trolling that slow, do metal blades work or not?
They do, but not nearly as effectively as that smile blade does, because like you said, those smile blades will spin even down to a quarter of a mile an hour. And so, yeah, it's nice to have that smile blade because, the metal blades, they struggle to spin at that slow a speed.
Last but not least, what colors do you like to use in the early spring when you're fishing Banks Lake for walleye?
2 colors jump out. Number one is the gold with black scales, and the other one is the UV glow. You got those 2 colors, you're going to be in business on Banks Lake.
All right. Banks Lake, great walleye destination, and a lot of other fish to find there as well. If you want to go fishing with Keith Jensen, go to his website, BigWally'sGuideService.com. That's BigWally'sGuideService.com. And that wraps up another Max Minute.
I'm Bob Loomis, and I fish for walleye. Sometimes when I'm out on the water, I feel like a destroyer captain hunting for targets with my electronics. I'm not hunting submarines, though. I'm hunting fish, and when I find that big one on the fish finder, I want to make sure she's going to bite. That's where the Smile Blade Slow Death Rig from Max Lure comes in. The Smile Blade spins and flashes at ultra-slow speeds, and the one-of-a-kind red hook keeps that bait moving in a way the fish can't resist. It's the Smile Blade Slow Death Rig. You're the destroyer. This is your depth charge. Only from Max Lure.
Looking for a quality fishing adventure that won't break the bank? Then head to Canada for an all-inclusive fishing vacation with Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing. Big salmon, halibut, snapper, and lingcod are waiting for you off Vancouver Island. But space is limited, so book now at coastwidesportsfishing.com. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com.
Sportsman's Warehouse is America's premier outfitter and has the quality gear you need for hunting, fishing, camping, and more. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the right products so you get the most out of your time in the field or on the water. In addition to stocking superior clothing and outdoor equipment, we offer in-store events and seminars so you can enjoy a successful adventure. With over 70 stores located in the United States, it's easy to find a Sportsman's Warehouse store near you. Find out more at sportsmanswarehouse.com.
From the floor of the Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show, we're talking to Bill Coberly. He is the president of Teardrops Northwest, based out of Salem, Oregon, and he sells some really cool teardrop trailers you're going to want to take to a state park or National Forest Service campground or anywhere else where you can trailer something to sleep in. Bill, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much.
So, Bill, tell me about Teardrops Northwest. What's the story behind your company based in Salem, Oregon?
Actually, I bought a teardrop trailer because I was going to do gallery photography, and I took my first trip, and I just had a lot of ideas about how it should be engineered by the time I got back. So I bought some toys, and that was about 200 trailers ago.
So how long has the company been around? How many people work for you? And it sounds like you've sold 200 trailers.
Yes, I think just a little over 200 trailers. We've been around for 5 years. We did, I think, 13 the first year, then 22, then 42, then 55. Last year we did 63, and then this year it's going well. We're probably about 10 or 12 weeks out right now on builds.
That's fantastic. How big of a company are you?
We're 6 people, actually 7. We have a part-time sales rep up in Washington that spearheads the off-road division, and we've got 3 guys on the floor building, 1 guy supervising. My wife runs the office, and I do this.
Well, we're going to talk about the off-road edition in a minute. Folks, it's called the Recon. I'm looking at it here. It's really cool. But before we get there, let's talk about teardrop trailers, because this is, well, for lack of a better word, retro. Because when travel trailers first started, most people were hauling around teardrop trailers. And from there, folks went to, I think, Airstream trailers, and that people remember from the 60s. And then things got bigger and things got bigger. And all of a sudden you've got 24, 28, 32-foot, bunkhouse trailers. But now we've gone retro. And now we've gone back. What's the appeal? Why do you think people are back to teardrops where they all started?
It did start because trailers had to be small because Model Ts couldn't pull very much. So the teardrop shape was the most aerodynamic, and it lends itself to some spectacular uses. There's a place for the countertop and just a logical build-out of cabinets above and below the countertop.
Let's talk about the basic construction of a teardrop trailer and what people find inside. So this isn't like a tent trailer or a bunkhouse trailer where you walk in and there's a dinette and there's a kitchen inside and there's a big bed or a cab over or anything like that. There's a little side door. You go in, and it's basically a couch that converts to a bed, isn't it?
Well, it's a bed that converts to a couch.
Even better.
We do 2 sizes of mattresses, a 72-inch or 6-foot mattress. If you don't need a bigger mattress, allows more space underneath the galley. If you do need an 80-inch mattress, then we put one of those in, and there's a reduced space underneath the galley. And we've got a lot of modular applications of how to fit certain coolers, stoves, cabinets, cabinet doors, 2-door, 3-door stacks, and this allows the buyer to pick and choose how they want to configure their galley.
So, folks, you're listening to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Bill Coberly. He is the president of Teardrops Northwest. They make teardrop trailers in Salem, Oregon. And another thing I want to talk about, teardrop trailers versus your standard tent trailer, your pop-up tent trailer. What are the advantages over this versus a pop-up tent trailer?
Well, the number 1 advantage is that it's going to be a hard shell. Number 2 is that you don't have to pop it up and pop it back down. It's just what it is. So when you pull into a campsite, you can pull the emergency brake and pop the hatch. You're pretty much camping right there.
And I'm guessing when it comes to being in bear country, it's awfully nice to have a hard shell trailer versus a canvas top trailer.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's the law in a lot of places. You can't take a tent in some national parks.
I wasn't aware of that.
Or a pop-up tent. It has to be a hard shell, and teardrop trailers meet that criterion.
One other advantage of the teardrop trailer over a tent trailer, and we were talking about this earlier, is the fact when it comes to those tent trailers, if they get wet and you stow them wet, especially here in the Northwest, you've got problems, don't you?
Yeah, I've heard people say they've never encountered an older tent trailer that didn't have a bit of a mold smell in it. So that's different. We designed ours teardrop specifically for the Northwest with a double closing clamshell style hatch, just because we're phobic about the weather and how water could get in.
Sure, but people are going to be taking these places where it's warm too. Do you have any sort of ventilation or anything that keeps it cool inside?
We have to move the air in the inside of a teardrop. You have to, because we all put out a pint of water a night when we breathe. You don't want that to accumulate. So we do put vents in them and we put fans in them. We've got a 13-speed fantastic fan that'll really move some air. If it's going to be extreme hot, Arizona, Texas, things like that, there's a company that puts out what used to be called a pet cool, but now it's called a Climate Right. And we can adapt that to a teardrop. We don't like to put holes in the teardrop, so what we do is we make a plastic insert that fits into the window and the two 4-inch hoses that service it. And you can air condition the inside of your trailer.
Well, let's talk about this model that we're here with today. It's the Recon. It's designed as an off-road teardrop trailer. It looks incredibly sturdy, and it looks like it'd be a ton of fun to take just about anywhere you could 4x4 it. I'm talking rough Forest Service roads. I'm talking fish and wildlife areas, BLM land. I mean, it looks like this will go anywhere you want it to go just about.
Well, it is all digitally designed for structural integrity. You'll notice that we use Baltic birch, which is an all hardwood ply with a water-resistant laminate in it. Real tough, sturdy stuff, and everything is computer cut, accurate to about the width of a human hair. So we kerf it, we glue it, we screw it, and we tried and make a cabinet set and a drawer set where you could put a cast iron Dutch oven in it and go down, I think the song was 40 miles of bad road in Nevada or Wyoming, someplace like that, and it won't turn your cabinets to sawdust.
Well, I like this. It's basically got a slide-out kitchen in the back, and you've got a Camp Chef Everest cook stove, which, by the way, folks, fantastic top-of-the-line cook stoves. You got a Dometic, call it a cooler, call it a refrigerator, call it a freezer. It's electronic, and it'll keep things really cold, won't it?
Yeah, we put it on a stainless steel carriage on 500-pound steel ball bearing full extension slides, because you might be putting quite a bit of weight in it. And it is run off of two 6-volt batteries that are up in the tongue box, and those batteries can be recharged either with a 7-pin from your car alternator, or they could be from ground power. We do put a charger in it, and a 200-watt solar panel will service the system if you want to go zombie apocalypse or bug out and stay off grid for an extended period of time.
Something else you have here is a reinforced suspension. I understand it's made in Canada. You got some great off-road tires, and up top you've actually got, I know it's not a pop-up, but it is, well, I guess an accessory that pops up as a tent and additional sleeping area.
It's a Cascade vehicle tent, or a CVT tent. They come out of Bend, and we just like the quality and the convenience of it. It's one of those options where we don't put it on very often, maybe about 10% of our trailers. Somebody might want to use it for a hunting buddy, for another couple traveling with you, or for children.
This sleeps for, again, it's got the camp stove, it's got propane tank, you've got the 6-volt batteries, you've got outlets here that'll charge up, well, everything from a cell phone to a laptop to anything else you need. Pretty much got everything you need in a very small, tight, self-contained package that's going to go anywhere you want it to go.
Yes, that's the goal, is to be lightweight and condensed so that you can get in and out of tight places, and you can very quickly and easily set up.
Bill, we're running short on time, but where can folks find out more about getting a teardrop trailer from Teardrops Northwest?
You can go to teardropsnw.com. You can go to our Facebook. It's always informative to listen to our customers bantering and chatting back and forth about their experiences with our teardrops.
And are there any dealerships where folks can buy these throughout the Northwest?
We're direct to the customer, and the reason being is that if we have to find that 20 to 25% for a dealer, and we just didn't want to cheapen the product, or we didn't want to compromise what we were doing, and if we sell direct to the customer and custom make each one for the customer. You get more features and we get more pizzas and movies. So
there you go. It's Teardrops Northwest making a teardrop trailer just for you and just to your specifications. Find out more at teardropsnw.com. That's teardropsnw.com, and look them up on Facebook too. Bill, thanks for telling us all about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
absolutely a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're back with Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and we've got an outdoors news story for you that you could probably title The Bullwinkle Story, Justice Denied. This is all information compiled from three great outdoors writers: Scott Sansbury from the Yakima Herald Republic, Andy Walgamot from Northwest Sportsman Magazine, and Rich Landers from the Spokesman Review. Here's what happened. Back in December of 2015, a very well-known bull elk, nicknamed Bullwinkle, was killed near Ellensburg. Now, that isn't much of a story in and of itself, except for how it all came about. You see, Bullwinkle was pretty darn near tame. He was a big elk, very often photographed. He was a 6x7 point bull elk, and he was kind of smart. You see, he only hung out in an area that was open for hunting for spike bulls and cows. That's right. Branched antler bulls like Bullwinkle couldn't be hunted in that area, and he lived there for a good 10 years and was smart enough not to stray. That all came to an end in December of 2015 when trophy hunter Todd Reichert from Washington State shot the elk in this restricted area while hunting with a local guide named David Perkins. What happened next? Reichert, Perkins, and others transported the elk from the illegal area to a legal area to hunt trophy elk, and then field dressed it. Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife enforcement officers were called, and a case was put together. Reichert was charged with second-degree unlawful hunting of big game, and Perkins was charged with second-degree aiding and abetting. And here's where we need to tell you a little bit about Todd Reichert. He's a 77-year-old man, and he's well known, who was willing to pay a lot of money for a trophy elk. As a matter of fact, for this particular elk, he bought 313 $6 raffle tickets for a chance to tag Bullwinkle the elk. He has also killed several record book bulls by outbidding other trophy hunters to get coveted tags at auctions facilitated by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Among his trophy bids are $40,000 for the 2007 New Mexico Governor's Tag, $19,000 for the 2001 Oregon Governor's Tag, $16,000 for the 2003 edition, and the list goes on. In addition to spending a lot of money to get these tags, he was not above the law in how he used them. In 2007, Reichert killed a trophy elk in the Umatilla National Forest with Washington's first East Side Governor's Tag. However, he was indicted for hiring a helicopter service to spot elk for the hunt, which is unlawful in Washington and most other states. He was also charged with lying to wildlife authorities about the guiding services he hired. His sentence included a $5,000 fine, which, for a person of his means, was truly a slap on the wrist, and a 2-year ban from entering a national forest. You would think it was all a slam dunk case, but it wasn't. Reichert hired a high-power attorney out of Spokane, and that attorney managed to convince a lower Kittitas County District Court judge that the rules in the regulation book were way too vague, even though there are photos illustrating the rule on page 49 of the regulations. However, Reichert's attorney won the fight, and the judge dismissed the case against both Reichert and Perkins. No word yet on whether the Kittitas County Prosecutor's Office is going to appeal, but here's a little more salt to rub into the wound if you're an ethical hunter. Reichert's attorney in the case says the hunter hopes to get back the antlers that came off the trophy bull, as well as the hide, both of which have been frozen since they were confiscated by State Fish and Wildlife Police for evidence purposes. Does that story make you mad? Yep, me too. Let's turn to happier things like fishing reports from our Sportsman's Warehouse stores around the Northwest. We'll start off with the Hillsboro store in Oregon. That's where Matt Hutchins is the manager. Turns out 18,000 trout were released into Henry Hagg Lake near town there around the 1st of March, which means trout angling should be pretty good all month long. And don't forget, early season angling for some of the big bass that are in there. Consider using jigs with rubber grubs and fishing them with a very, very slow presentation. From the East Wenatchee store, where Morgan Wagner is the manager, we learned that Lake Chelan continues to be a hot prospect this winter for kokanee. Max Lure Tackle has been very popular for catching the fish. It's also time to focus on big lake trout at this time of year. And heading to the Bozeman store, we find out Canyon Ferry Reservoir near Helena is a great place to go because fishing is still excellent for trout and perch. The ice on the lake ranges between 16 and 24 inches around the edges. Jigs tipped with bait have been the best producers for these fish. And finally, from Gillette, Wyoming, the word is the ice is melting. And it's unsafe on many of northeast Wyoming's reservoirs, so you may want to wait until there is open water and either fish from the bank or get your boat in the water for the first time this spring. Want to find out about more fishing reports near you? Simply go to sportsmanswarehouse.com, go to the lower left corner of that front page, look for the fishing reports tab, and look for them near a store near you. That's sportsmanswarehouse.com. Next up on Northwestern Outdoors Radio, we're broadcasting from the floor of the Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show, and we wanted to tell you turkey hunters and prospective turkey hunters who have never done this before about an opportunity to get into this sport. With us here to tell you about turkey hunting clinics and mentored turkey hunts is Aaron Garcia with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Aaron, great to have you back on the show.
Hey, thanks a lot, John.
So let's talk about this opportunity. It sounds like this is for kids, or is it for adults too?
It's for everybody that has never hunted a turkey before.
So we're starting off with some clinics so people can get the basics on how to go about doing it. And let's talk about when and where these are taking place from mid-March on.
Yeah, John, we have clinics coming up. The 15th in Vancouver at the district office down there, and the 18th at the Red's Fly Shop, Canyon River Ranch, and the Yakima River Canyon.
All right, so for our Portland listeners, for our Yakima listeners, maybe even our Tri-Cities listeners, and for our Ellensburg listeners, and even anyone in Central Washington, you know, that Red's Canyon Fly Shop is pretty close to get to there. There's an option for you there. What's going to be covered at these clinics?
We do everything from the different species, habitat, sign, calling, basically covers everything that you need to know to go out and hunt your first turkey.
Clearly, Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is involved with this. What other organizations are partnering with you to put on these clinics?
Well, we're working with the National Wild Turkey Federation, and then another group that we just partnered with is called First Hunt Foundation. They're all about getting people out the first time to hunt different species, turkey, elk, deer, etc.
So in addition to the clinics we've talked about, are there going to be additional ones before turkey hunting season starts?
There's a good possibility. We haven't finished filling in our calendar yet, and we could even do some during the April-May timeframe. We just don't know for sure yet.
All right, so let's transition to turkey hunting season. Let's transition to these mentored hunts. How do those work?
Well, right now, this will be the first time the Department of Fish and Wildlife has run these kind of mentored turkey hunts. We're going to put together a mentor, a landowner, private lands, and then the person who wants to go, the mentee, and basically put those three items together and let them figure out how they're going to make it work. And that's where First Hunt's going to come in on board. They have kind of a plan for it already.
Is participation at a clinic a prerequisite to participation in one of these mentored hunts?
It's not a prerequisite at this time. We would really appreciate if people came to the clinics, and then they can get some basic knowledge before they go out on the mentored hunts.
Sounds like a smart idea to me. Go ahead and figure out what you're doing first, figure out everything you need to know about turkey hunting, and then actually go to it. It's called crawl, walk, and run, as we used to say in the military, and it makes a lot of sense. So, where can people find out more about getting involved with these clinics, getting involved with these mentored hunts? And one more other question, what's the price?
These are all free. The Department of Fish and Wildlife is sponsoring them, so there's no cost. You can find out more information if you go to our website, the wdfw.wa.gov. You go to the hunting drop-down, you go to Hunter Ed. You'll find hunting clinics on the left bar, and also down below on the page you'll see hunting clinics. You click on that and it'll have all the information about the clinics on there.
All right, the website again, wdfw.wa.gov. Go to the hunting page, go to the Hunter's Ed page. You're going to get there from there. And again, great free opportunity to get involved in the very popular sport of turkey hunting. And folks, there's a lot of turkey hunting to be done in both Southeast Washington and Northeast Washington and other places in the Evergreen State as well. So don't miss out on this chance to participate in a mentored turkey hunt this year. Aaron, thanks for telling us all about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thank you a lot, John. We appreciate the opportunity.
Good hunters know before you take that shot, you've got to see the whole picture. Now, the best way to do that is with a spotting scope, binoculars, or a rifle scope, but it's got to be from Leupold. Now, Leupold is a Northwest company with a reputation that stretches across the world for making superior optics. The kind of optics that allow you to see what you need before making that stock or pulling that trigger. Look for Leupold Optics at your local Cabela store, Dick's Sporting Goods, or online at leupold.com. Leupold, America's optical authority.
The road is calling you to experience one of Oregon's 7 wonders, the Wallowas. So grab your family and spend some time exploring Northeast Oregon's Wallowa County. Visit the state park at the head of glacier-carved Wallowa Lake. Travel the Hells Canyon Scenic Byway. Feel the pioneer spirit, Nez Perce history, and see our Western arts and bronzes. Ascend to the top of Mount Howard on the tram and you'll see why Wallowa County is one of Oregon's most scenic and adventurous vacation wonders. This summer, take the road that leads to wonders. It begins at WallowaCountyChamber.com.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands. We've helped ban the use of drones for hunting. We help repair wildlife corridors in key riparian areas. We speak up against illegal ATV use. We collaborate with elected leaders to keep public lands in public hands. We're Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, with membership in all 50 states and Canada. Please join this dynamic conservation group. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Hey, we're talking to Lance Mers today with Max Lure Company about a brand new lure that's just slaying the trout out there on area lakes. It's the Smile Blade Spin Drift Trout Lure from Max Lure Company. Lance, what makes this lure so special?
Well, we've got our Max Lure patented Smile Blade, our high UV components, and the Spin Drift hook, which gives it a great corkscrew action in the water.
There you go, folks. All 3 components help you catch more fish. The Smile Blade Spin Drift Trout Lure, only from Max Lure Company.
Sportsman's Warehouse is America's premier outfitter and has the quality gear you need for hunting, fishing, camping, and more. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the right product so you get the most out of your time in the field or on the water. In addition to stocking superior clothing and outdoor equipment, we offer in-store events and seminars so you can enjoy a successful adventure. With over 70 stores located in the United States, it's easy to find a Sportsman's Warehouse store near you. Find out more at sportsmanswarehouse.com.
We've got time for one more shot of Northwestern Outdoors Radio with John Cruz.
Before we go, we've got just a few more sportsman shows left this season. One of them's taking place this weekend. It's the Great Rocky Show. It's in Missoula from the 10th through the 12th, taking place at the Adams Center at University of Montana. The Bighorn Show is taking place March 17th through the 20th at the Interstate Fairgrounds. Always a great show with lots of exhibitors in Spokane, one of my favorites. And there's a brand new show that's coming to Western Washington. It's being put on by the King County, Snohomish County, Puget Sound Anglers. It's the Monroe Sportsman Show, taking place at the Evergreen Fairgrounds April 7th through the 9th. And now, it's time for your Sportsman's Warehouse Trivia Question of the Week. Do you remember when the U.S. Mint trotted out quarters for every state? That was kind of fun, wasn't it? Well, if you look on the back of the Idaho State Quarter, you'll see a picture of this raptor, known for its hunting ability and speeds of over 200 miles an hour when it dives after its prey. It's found throughout the Northwest and, for that matter, throughout North America. It's also used all over the world by falconers, and in North America, it's got the nickname of the duck hawk. Do you know what kind of falcon we are talking about here? If you do, go to our Facebook page, like our page, find the post, and give us your answer there. Or if you prefer, go to our website at northwesternoutdoors.com. Just go to the Contact Us page and let us know, what is the name of this raptor known for its hunting ability all over the world? One lucky person who guesses right is going to win the $25 gift card we give away every week from Sportsman's Warehouse. All right. We need to wrap things up for the week, but if you get a chance, visit our website at northwesternoutdoors.com and our sister website at americaoutdoorsradio.com. You'll find podcasts of recent shows on the front page of both sites. Another place you can hear our show is on WRVO Radio. The website there, RenoViolaOutdoors.com. It's an internet station dedicated to outdoors programming. Got about 34 different outdoor shows from all over North America, covering not just fishing and hunting, but a whole lot more. That's RenoViolaOutdoors.com. The sun is starting to shine a little more often out here, and the snow and ice are finally melting. That means it's time to go fishing, shed hunting, hiking, cycling, and so much more. Until next time, take care, God bless, and make it a point to spend some time outdoors.